Hey everybody, welcome back to Capital Connection. I'm Conan Smith. I am the president and CEO of the Michigan Environmental Council. And if you're new to this space, we like to do a little half-hour fun conversation with thought leaders in the environmental movement around policy, around philosophy, around grassroots action. And I am delighted to welcome two of my favorites here today. Larry Bell and Bob Sutherland. Welcome, guys. Thanks for taking time out of your day to be with us.
Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
So both of these gentlemen have been longtime supporters of the environmental movement. We're going to talk today about sort of their naissance as environmentalists and conservationists, and how they are running their businesses. You will be very familiar with these the brands that these two gentlemen have developed. Bell's Brewery, which matter of fact, I just had a stout of yours a couple days ago, Larry, that was delicious. Thank you very much. And Bob Sutherland from Cherry Republic, who very generously, if you guys have been involved in MEC, Bob gave all of our donors to our annual event in COVID an awesome little gift basket, which was that was really fun. I made some delicious cherry scones with the cherries that were in there, Bob. So thanks very much for that. So you guys have been just icons in this space, and together they're leaders on this this thing called the Great Lakes Business Network, which is about 170 businesses in the Great Lakes region advocating for clean water and the protection of the lakes and a more sustainable environment for all. And we're going to touch on all three of those things today. Before we get into the meat of the work, Bob, Larry, like, how did you get to love the environment the way that you do?
Okay, I'll go first, Bob. So, you know, going back, I think when I was 14, I became the editor of my local Sierra Club newsletter. You know, sort of puberty, I was in Boy Scouts and doing the outdoors. And then I kind of segued into the Sierra Club and doing things with them. And, you know, fortunately, you know, over the years, being able to have a successful business, then you're able to implement policies and you know, get equipment and do things to really fulfill sort of that sustainability dream. You know, in high school, we were reading, you know, these little treatises on how to make methane converters, so you know you could close the loop. And you know, it was the 70s. We were all very idealistic about what was going to happen there. You know, I've always dreamed about having a brewery with, you know, having the farm, and we'd take the spent hops and malt and, you know, spent malt we could feed to the cows and take the cow poop and the spent hops and do the methane converter to fire the kettle to make the beer. And you'd have to have a lot of cows, maybe a little impractical, but you know, just starting from some of those thoughts when I was young, and now being able to put some of those things in action is pretty fulfilling.
You know, David Brower, who was a longtime executive director of the National Sierra Club, started out as the newsletter editor too. So watch out. You know, maybe there's a Sierra Club job in your future. Move on up. Bob, what about you?
Man, I was 7 years old when my parents left, you know, the Detroit area, Royal Oak, and headed north to raise their 6 kids. And we landed right in the arms of the sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore right here in Glen Arbor. And from that moment on, I was in the woods and wild and learning that environmental ethics just by living it every day. And from that, you know, my parents were educators and, you know, really thought that was important to teach us that. And And as I started this business, it was just natural to, from my first product that we put part of all profits go to, to the environment. And in that first case, it went to the Leelanau Conservancy. And that act of giving and that act of putting, an organization on the chest that I really believed in for a movement, the environment that I really believed in, it helped me work twice as hard on making my business a success, is just knowing that I was going to be not only making a living for myself, but helping causes as well. And that ethic of raising money to give back to the environment and give back to the earth has been, keeping me going. And that first year, maybe it was $400 that I was giving. But I was equally trying to grow this business so I could get more and more and more and more. And this year, I think we're budgeted almost near giving away 400,000 or 100 times what that first check was for. So, and now I get to do it to as many, many more groups. And it's one of the most meaningful things for me in this company, but also for every one of our 300 employees.
When you and I first met, it was through a farmland preservation sort of learning experience. I remember riding on a bus with you all over the Eastern Seaboard. And you talked very passionately then about the need to protect farmland and support farmers as business owners. A lot of your donations have gone from the company to support local businesses like that. Can you talk a little bit about like the mission and purpose of giving within the context of Cherry Republic as a business, and how you're helping to strengthen that network through your giving as well?
Yeah, for the farmers up here, especially when we were on that, bus ride, there was we were losing farms up in northern Michigan and across Michigan at a drastic rate. Luckily some of that's been righted. But we have, what is Michigan truly? It's our trees and woods and clean water. And those are so important, some place to recreate and safe place to grow up and live. But it also is, it's this cultural and heritage, and farming is such a, for up here in the North, it's a key identity of who we are. What will we be if we weren't driving by these important farms? Larry just talked about it himself, his intro. I'm lucky. I get to drive by, a farmland every day to work. That's the Port Oneida Historic District, and I get to go through these 100-year-old farms that have not changed, and that's so rooted in my, who we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I can't. Yeah, I think I covered that as well as I can.
Well, Bob, I think I kind of think of us as Americans as sort of, as opposed to our European counterparts, we're sort of like very old teenagers, right? The Europeans have had that connection to the land and that identity to the products that they make and the things that they grow for a long time. We as Americans, like coming out of the 50s and 60s and processed food and all, coming into the 70s, all of a sudden we started understanding about food a little bit more. And I think especially in Michigan with our fruit belt and all the farming we do, people have much more of a connection to the food that we grow here. But then also I think to just the region and the water and the lakes. This, as you said, this really does give us identity and roots us and gives us something to be proud of.
Larry, are you a Michigander by birth?
I am not. I'm from Illinois, but from from a young age, my family's been in this little town in the UP since 1911. So, I mean, to me, Michigan was always the Upper Peninsula. It wasn't I came to school in Kalamazoo when I was 18.
Okay. It's a Hemingway-esque. Came up, born and raised in Illinois and came to Michigan for the deep experience.
Right, yes.
Oh, Larry, your business, you mentioned a real interest in energy generation and waste as a young man. Your business is now a sustainability leader in this. Like, you really transformed the way you do production at the brewery. Can you tell us a little bit about the innovations you've done there around energy efficiency and waste reduction, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, we're all in business. We're all polluters. So how do we reduce that? And the brewing business is energy intensive. So one of the things that we've done is we put up a wastewater to energy plant. So our wastewater has a high bio load, and we're able to take that and anaerobically ferment, if you will, that bio load and turn it into biogas and burn that for electricity that then goes directly back to the plant. And I mean, it's right there at the corner of our parking lot, so we don't have a lot of loss in transmission of electricity. We're saving putting all this load into the municipal system, so we're cleaning up the water before its final discharge, and we're getting energy back out of that. We've done some other things, like we have a big warehouse where we have a green roof. We're growing sedum up on the top of the roof. We have solar tubes to provide natural lighting for our employees. All our light fixtures are motion and light sensitive. So if it's pretty light already, somebody walks into the room, say only 2 bulbs can come on instead of all 6 that we might need. Mm-hmm. We've got geothermal heating for both our office building and for our plant. If you come to the plant, you see 2 acres of hops that we grow. Well, beneath that, hops don't go very deep. Beneath that is the geothermal field for heating the brewery.
That's awesome.
And then we have a new recycling effort that we've done with several other companies, about 12 other companies, where all of us receive material in, say, a super sack or something that's a plastic weave, where the only way you can recycle those is if you have truckloads at a time. And none of us individually have that, but we've all gotten together and bought the equipment, and Bell's will be the central place where we'll be able to do that. And again, it's just one of those ways that we can reduce the waste stream out there.
You've really integrated this into your business practices, but also into your business leadership. You've got Walker Modick on the team now, who leads your sustainability work.
Yeah, we have a sustainability team, and they work on all these issues and waste reduction. People got mad when we took their waste baskets away, right? We don't have individual waste baskets anymore. You go to a center and you make a decision about what is it that you have and where is it going to go. Walker is now leading up the sustainability committee for the Brewers Association, our trade association of small brewers, and also was just appointed to the environmental rules review committee for the state of Michigan. The governor appointed him there, which we thought was really good. Somebody's got to mind that hen house, and he's great to have there, and is helpful too for me because I can't be everywhere. So Walker does a lot with the Great Lakes Business Network on my behalf.
Speaking of the network, Bob, you've been a part of the Great Lakes Business Network, which is a coalition of hundreds of businesses across the Great Lakes region. It's staffed and coordinated by 2 of our favorite allies in the nonprofit community, Groundwork Center up in Traverse City and the National Wildlife Federation. tell us a little bit about Great Lakes Business Network and why it's so important that businesses take a stand on these environmental issues and show leadership.
With that one too, we had such an important cause that brought us all together, the line 5 and stopping that and trying to balance out, the political landscape a little bit more. And it didn't seem like the business voice was that was out there at the time was speaking for me. Those groups of businesses were not speaking for Cherry Republic, And so for an organization like the Great Lakes Business Network, a group of like-minded businesses that were all speaking together, not only did it amplify what Cherry Republic could have done alone, it tentupled it, when you put those names all together, which brings all those customers together,
right?
Which brings all that trust together. It's amazing what can be accomplished. And each of us business people, and Larry, we were talking about it before, we opened it up to everyone, is how we only have so much time, like we're busy, and sharing some of that workload with 170 other businesses really helps get the word out too, and keep us actively moving forward.
I love this idea of you all leveraging the trust and faith that people have in your brands on behalf of the Great Lakes and the environment. As you talk about that, is that a conscious?
I'll jump in on that one. That's like, we're at a time when our trust in government, unfortunately, is, at a lower spot. And so, and what does that do? That, makes people question when they write a check to the government or when they go to vote, and all this, and our trust in, even down to the local area. Luckily, for people, they still have a trust in who they buy from, and they put their money, to those companies that they believe in and that are doing the right thing. And so, it's an honor to have all those customers, hundreds of thousands, but Larry feels the same, that, and trust us and buy our products. And some of the reason I feel they do, is because of some of the political stands that we've made that are similar to where they are.
So for some businesses, it's risky, right? Sorry, Larry, go ahead.
Well, it is. Yes, it is risky, but maybe you're going to lose some customers. Fine. Did I lose some customers because we sponsor the Pride Fest in Kalamazoo every year? Yes, but we do because it's the right thing to do. But Great Lakes Business Network, as Bob said, really was put together over line 5. When we had the spill in the Kalamazoo River by Enbridge, which is the largest inland oil spill in U.S. history, I wound up having to sue Enbridge over an issue, and I got to know who they are as a corporation, which did not impress me. And as we all discovered pipelines, the network came about because and we're not really an environmental organization, but we're a business organization looking out for, what affects our businesses. So, for Chris Shepler for running his ferry boat service to Mackinac Island, if there's an oil spill, Mackinac Island is toast and his 200 employees are toast. Mm-hmm. Our little brewery in the Upper Peninsula takes water from Lake Michigan. If the water of Lake Michigan is corrupted up there, people are going to know about that. Tourism is going to go down. We make the private label beer for the Grand Hotel. We do a ton of business up in the Straits area. And if people don't come up there, it's obviously a business loss for us. And I think as a brewer, if I can't advocate for clean water in the state, I don't know who can, right? It's our main ingredient for our company. It's what we need. My scientists can tell you everything about the aquifer that we draw from and water in the state. And kind of going back to Bob's point, you know, in this Great Lakes Business Network, we have all these businesses together now. And who were the businesses that were talking? It was the Chamber of Commerce, whose policies probably don't represent Bob's business or my business or the others. And so kind of, I think where we are right now is, what if there's a business organization that not only on water and some environmental, but on sustainability and employees and other issues? What if we're the new chamber and we represent businesses that have progressive ideals in business, that it's not just all about profit, but you know, it's about people, it's about the planet, and we come together as an alternative business voice to talk out there, because I think that's the voice that we need right now.
Is that larger mission, like beyond line 5 that you're talking about? How do we as business leaders speak to this value system? That's an invitation to a wide array of businesses who may not have a need for water like your two businesses do at their heart.
Well, you know, this is an ideal. It's just sort of me thinking about it. But what we have as a basis there, could that be grown? That's a possibility. You know, as you start getting into other issues, then it's harder to herd the cats altogether.
Don't I know?
Yeah, yeah. But you know, certainly we agree on the water issues, and you know, expanding, taking a look at algal blooms in Lake Erie, and certainly we have this huge PFAS issue in the state of Michigan. These are all clean water issues that affect all of us.
Yeah, and we verged off, and we have a committee that's on climate and clean energy, you know, today through the network. Just made sense, you know, with line 5 to think ahead. Okay, what are the alternatives, you know?
Right.
And I had found, and, you know, I hope as it grows and other businesses, you know, get more comfortable with being a little more political, you know, through their business, you know, in the way they give and the way they use that business to speak to their customers and the rest of Michigan as a whole. You know, I've had 2 events in my life that, you know, were pretty strong, that helped, you know, strengthen my commitment and not being afraid to say what I believe in through my business, you know, and fear of losing customers. And one of them was, you know, there was an event up here where there was a potential takings of some of our Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore, you know. And I remember getting in front of you know, 250 people, you know, on a stage, and there were TV cameras all over. And I went, I will fight this takings of the national park till hell freezes over, and then I will fight on the ice. And that went all over in the news and everything. And I thought, oh my God, I might have just lost every bit of business and customers that, you know, I had. You know, and I waited, looked the next day, and maybe thought there were gonna be picketers outside and, you know, whatever. But no, man, the next day and week, it was just the opposite, you know. And I found that people like to do business with people that stand for something. Maybe even some of them disagree, but they just like to see, you know, others making a stand, you know, because they're not as likely themselves. And then another time, you know, I started a new way to fundraise. You know, we've always given 1% of everything we raise away, and it's easy to budget. You just put it in your thing at the beginning of the year, that 1%. And if you have to raise your prices up 1%, you know, to make that happen. But then I wanted to do more. And I read about this group out west that did this for a while, where they did a 1% tariff on their customers too in their stores. And I said, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give all that money to farmers and, you know, farmland protection and helping farmers go to solar. And it just seems like a perfect thing. But I put this sign out, you know, in front that, you know, warning, the Cherry Public Legislature has enacted a 1% tariff on their, customers, and please be advised this is going to happen, you know, at the cash registers. And there was nothing we say at the cash registers, and we just put that 1% on and give people a receipt that shows it, and they could come back and refund it if they like. And I thought, once again, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, and this is in Michigan. We're pretty conservative. We want this separate. But once again, it has just resonated with my customers so much that there is a small percentage that opt out, but 99.9% of them love it, that when they come in and buy, they're contributing to the environment and to help farmers.
I love that both of your businesses have taken those inside practices around sustainability and this broader public commitment and paired that. So you're walking the walk while you talk the talk. What would you say to other businesses that are out there? What comes first? Should they join the Great Lakes Business Network? Should they implement practices internally? Is there a recommendation you would have to them about where to start?
I think you sure join the network, and if then you have another resource to help you get towards those best practices. If you don't know, maybe you know what you want to do, but you don't know how to get there.
I'd say those. Go ahead, Larry.
Oh, I'm sorry, my screen just changed, and I was.
That was me.
But
sorry about that.
But yeah, go ahead and join the network, and then feel free to reach out to others that are there. Join up, participate, and we can all do the walk together.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I was just going to say, join the network and join these causes for your customers, and join, for those customers that you have, and not to get, customers. There's an ethic right there.
Yeah.
That'll naturally happen, that second part.
That's a great way to put it too. Join for your customers, not to get customers, and that'll come. We have a number of questions that folks have put in the Q&A and the chat. I want to let you all know in the audience, if we didn't touch on your question, we'll follow up. The MEC staff will send an email addressing each of those. Let me just pose to each of you one of these questions that sort of applies to both your businesses. Have you considered putting electric vehicle charging stations at your locations at all?
I think we're sort of just getting there. One of the challenges for us in Michigan, growing up this business is, it's just the way it is. Going around Michigan and making sales calls, I can't tell you how many number of times I've gone somewhere and somebody's like, well, what do you drive? Right? Is it made in Michigan? You tout being made in Michigan. So we worked on changing our fleet. Over time, we keep taking a look at how do we make it more energy efficient. And of course, not all those electric vehicles have been available for sale in Michigan, but I think it's certainly something that we are starting to take a hard look at.
We have some spots set aside, and we got the solar panels right above that spot. So I think in the next 6 months, we'll be putting some out.
I'll say from the MEC perspective, obviously we work on policy in the Capitol, and we've been very proud of the Whitmer administration's commitment to this EV transformation. And one thing that we know we need is more funding for infrastructure in that transformation. And as we see investment from the federal government coming into the state for infrastructure, I hope we'll be able to help businesses like yours, get through the very expensive process of installation there, and get more of these stations out for everybody. Gentlemen, we're at the hour. I want to say thank you very much for taking a half hour out of your day to spend it with MEC and our friends and allies across the state.
Pleasure. Thanks, Conan.
Yeah, same. Thanks for that invitation. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll talk to you all later.